that reminds me, first day, 9th grade science class. We go through, and the teacher gives us a sheet of paper, and she's like, here, everybody, do this so I can gauge kind of where you're at, and then turn it in, and you're good for you to go. Name, put my name. And it says, please read all the questions before proceeding. And the very last question is, if you've read this whole document, don't fill anything out and just turn it in.
You filled everything out?
No, I read through the whole thing, but there were so many people you just looked over, and they're just steady writing and steady figuring things out or whatever. And it's like, there were like 6 of us that we got up and turned it in early, and these kids are like, what are they doing? Like they're all mad at us or whatever. And then you see them get to the bottom, and you start like, after a few minutes, you start hearing, you got to be kidding me.
That's quite a choice. That's following directions.
Well, and it's smart because in science, you got to follow the directions. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Outer Belt. I am Patrick, and you all know my friends.
Chili.
Buttermilk.
Eric.
And Jerry.
And we are here for another recap of the Highfield Summer Tour season of fun. So I had a great name for this. What was it again?
You did have a great name for this, yeah.
What was it? Did anybody watch the podcast?
Yeah, I did multiple times.
What was it called?
Of course you did.
It was a Highfield Summer Jam Session, so the Cisco Shakedown. What's it called?
I don't know.
Highfield Summer Recap.
Highfield Summer Recap Part 3.
Tres.
Trois.
And
Multilingual here.
finally, is it? And
3.
finally,
Tres, three, trois. It's multilingual.
Okay.
It's
All right,
French.
It's something.
That's all I
I-
know.
I don't know any other languages.
Do you know German?
No. Well-
Eins, zwei, drei, right?
Oh.
I learned that in Cool Runnings.
Oh.
I watched that the other day.
I did too. I was
It
on a Delta
hilarious. That's where I watched it.
flight. No kidding.
Yes, the Delta flight. Yes.
I was flying out to Atlanta, and I'm like, well, I got like 4 hours to kill.
Yeah.
Cool Runnings, huh? That was
Cool
your choice.
Runnings.
Yeah, I'm on.
It's such a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Oh man, tearjerker.
How old is that
Truly.
movie? Wait, guess it before somebody fact checks this.
1991.
Oh, really?
No. Yes. No.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm going to go,
I'm going 91.
really?
Yep. What are you doing?
I'm going to say 92.
Ah!
oh, that's what
I'm
I
going
was.
to go with
that's-
93, the year I graduated. I doubt it, but that sounds good.
Eric
90.
Ooh.
and Jerome.
I have no idea. I never watched it.
What?
Okay, pick a year. Just
Okay,
don't
we
do
got to stop the
2000s.
show.
91.
Stop recording right now.
You can't
and
be.
Jerry
No,
has
you
to
can't be
watch
doing mine.
91
We're
and
gonna
a half.
stop it, and Jerry's gonna watch
Jerry has
this.
to watch
Jerry,
it.
you have to watch the
91
whole
and a
show.
half.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 1 AD, Bob.
Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. And did anybody actually look it up?
Anybody?
Looking
Now-
at it now.
What is it? 94.
93.
93.
Oh, you win the
Nice.
prize.
93 was a great year.
It
That's
was
Jurassic
fabulous.
Park. That's
Year I graduated?
is that Schindler's List too?
Oh, really?
Is it?
I don't know.
Come on, we need our fact checker. We have our fact checker back in the house. We're all excited.
I'm so excited that
Let's
he's
hear it
back
for the
here.
fact checker.
Yay! Where's your applause? Woo!
And it is 93. I was right again.
Nice. Some good movies in 93.
There were some good movies in 93. Some tearjerkers.
Yeah.
We got to see arguably one of the best movies in my life, Jurassic Park. Can you imagine? That opened my eyes to Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
You never saw him in The Fly?
Really?
I saw The Fly after
Oh.
I saw Jurassic Park. Yeah. I
Huh.
love that movie so much.
The
When I
Fly
was-
or Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park. When I was a kid, that came out, I was in 3rd grade, I want to say. Got a very bad report card. Shocker. So I doctored it, because if you can't do, then you commit fraud.
Yeah.
So I doctored it up, and then Mom was very happy, and Dad were happy. So they signed the report card. I got it back to the teacher. They ended up buying Jurassic Park comforter set and pillows and everything for my bed. Mom was
Oh,
a
my
seamstress.
goodness.
She made some Jurassic Park pillows. They put up red curtains because you couldn't get Jurassic Park curtains, but red curtains in the room. And I had a dot matrix printer. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
one. That's the one
Yeah.
where the paper is indefinite.
Mm-hmm.
And it feeds to the bottom, and it's just the most. I was gonna do it, but it's the most god awful sound. printing that thing off. I made a banner out of a dot matrix printer of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and we had to tape it up, like tape it together so that
Yeah.
it would make one
Right.
big thing. And then we stuck that on my door, and I was all excited, and it was great. They bought me the movie, obviously, and it was great. And then the next time the report card came out, they found that I had lied about the first one. And then
Did everything get removed?
I believe the word is wrath.
Yeah.
The word of the day is
Yeah.
wrath, brought to you by the letter W.
Did it have the grades from all the quarters on it, kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And they were called in for a parent-teacher conference.
Oh, of course.
There wasn't
Oh, can't get out of that one.
cannot get out of that one. What did we learn from this?
Don't doctor your.
I did all right. Fraud works. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny.
Jerry,
That's
you never did
funny.
anything like that?
Mm-mm.
My parents were on it too because I was the second kid, so like they knew when the report cards came out, and Melissa would always give them hers. So I couldn't just sign it because I learned after a while to forge Dad's signature pretty good.
Sure.
Mom's, forget about it, couldn't do it. Dad's was perfect, and he did it the exact same way every single time, and it's perfect. Like if you look in the dictionary under like the perfect signature,
Yeah.
you'll see my dad's name spelled out just the way he does. It's perfect. I don't know where he got it from because I did not get that gift. And so because it's perfect and done the exact same way every single time,
You perfected it.
you can learn to fake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I did
tracing
perfect my
paper over it.
mom's.
And,
I never used it for anything nefarious.
Well, if you used it,
I
it was
did use
nefarious,
it.
right?
No.
I mean,
it was
come
good.
on.
It's like a
do-
white light. It's good fraud.
So here's one. So teenager went and spent the night at a girlfriend's house. We were going to go to a dance. And my mom got wind that I was going to go to a party. Lived in a very small town. They were business owners in the community. I was going to go to a party. I had no intentions ever of going to the party. Who knew? Anyways, guess who showed up at the dance?
Mom.
Mom. To make sure I was dancing. Guess who was dancing? I love to dance. I had no intentions of going. Parties weren't really my
So
thing.
did she
I
think-
don't think I went to my first party down at the Whoop-de-woos. If you're from Lapine, Oregon, you know where those are. They're behind Dairy Queen.
We have
Anyway,
we have a very large
Yes.
Lapine,
Very
Oregon
Yes.
large,
crowd.
very
At any
large
rate,
Lapine,
yes.
Oregon.
I didn't. I rather dance, and yeah.
So was she surprised to see you there?
Oh, very surprised to see me there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she went so that she could say, I went to your school and you weren't there.
Absolutely.
And then you're there and she's like, well, crud.
She have to sneak out the door.
No, I popped her balloon.
See, I feel like my mom would have been like, I went to your school and you weren't there. I'd been like, I was there the whole night.
I was on the floor. Couldn't miss me.
You were on the floor.
Well, dancing.
I was
I was dancing on the floor.
I was a wallflower.
Oh, no, I love to dance.
Oh, I love to watch people dance.
Yeah. Again, I don't think I went to my first. I don't even think I went to the Whoop-de-woos until I was after I graduated. I finally went probably maybe senior summer after I graduated, and it was lackluster. It just wasn't my thing. I'd rather go to the lake and party at the lake than a road. The road, I don't know what the road. I guess you could drive your car, and it was bumpy and whoopty, and it was rolling hills on this dirt road in Lapine. I guess that was the thing.
Well, Eric and I had to go up to a body shop today and drop a vehicle off, and on the way back, the road was, I guess, whoop-de-woo.
Whoop-de-woo.
And it was like 60-mile-an-hour road, but 2 lanes, very narrow, and you know me, I'm going. And so we get over one of the woos, and it was a woo! And then the tires hit the pavement, and it was quite fun. It
Yeah.
was-
Which is why I
was
think
not
the kids
expecting that.
went to this place to party.
I
think,
should say I was in my private vehicle and I wasn't speeding, but anyways.
Yeah, I do think, and I know I said the words whoop-de-woo, but I do believe that's what it was called.
Yeah, so in dirt racing, whether it's car or motorcycle,
Yeah.
they have those ruts,
Yes.
and they call them the whoop-de-woos.
Whoop-de-woos.
Do
Or
they?
the whoops is for short. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, again,
Yeah,
it was behind Dairy
it's the thing.
Queen, which I think at this point has all been housed. Like they built housing development, so I no longer believe that that's the local hangout
So
anymore.
what I learned from my early days of
Forgery.
allegedly
Uh,
is after a while they
Creative
don't
licensing.
really- creative licensing, yes. The teachers don't look and match up signatures.
they really don't.
They want to see a signature. If it doesn't appear to be a 12-year-old signature, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're
On your
going
way.
like, Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you.
They're not
Thank
a
you.
bank where they're pulling out the signature card and matching it up, line for line.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh! I
No
remember the
forensics,
signature
huh?
card.
No forensics. No forensics.
That's funny.
We have a
That's funny.
signature card on file with our bank, but it's digital. But it looks nothing like anything I ever signed. So I don't, because I tried so hard to make it look nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, but I'll never
Yeah.
sign anything like
Who's
this.
the only one that can probably contest your signature is you?
I guess.
That's what I always say. I'm probably false, probably an illusion in my head, but I'm like
There's a few of those in
We
there.
used to sign. So
illusions.
back when I was doing sound and we were doing installs, we would go to like Lowe's and buy materials and stuff to hang speakers and
Right,
lights and all that
yeah.
stuff. So we would go there, and at the time, and I don't know if they still do it. Or I don't think they do anymore. But they used to actually print, like you would sign the screen, but then it would print the receipt,
Yes.
print the signature on the receipt.
Right.
And so, Christy was the wife of the guy that owned the company, and she also did all the accounting and bookkeeping. So she got all the receipts. And so we would just start saying little stuff like we'd sign like, "Hey, Christy," like,
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
sorry for the Coke purchase, like things like
Right,
that on
yeah.
there. And we'd be back at her place. She'd be like, "About those signatures." We never stopped.
That's
I assume
funny.
they're still doing it to this day. I hope my legacy is continued.
There you go.
Let's hope.
You? Jerry, did you do any forgery?
No, I didn't.
Creative licensing.
Creative licensing.
When you're perfect, you don't have to, right?
I guess. I
Eric,
never.
you?
I don't remember any forgery in my history.
I had other things that I did growing up, but never.
Go on.
No, I just want to be clear. I didn't do any forgery.
Oh, you just noted.
I just understood that they weren't checking if
Sure.
I were to do forgery or creative license.
The
I may have
biggest,
done a note when I was late. You know,
I never did that.
I had a
really
friend-
kissing the boy out back and now you're
Oh,
late.
I don't want to hear about that
know.
stuff.
Come on,
I
it's high school.
I had a friend in high school. When I went to high school, they still had timestamp machines, right? Time clocks.
For
Yeah.
the kids?
Well, when you would come when you miss a day
Okay.
and you come in the next day, you had to bring your note to the front office
Yes.
and get a readmit slip,
Yes.
and they would timestamp the readmit slip.
Ours would do the
And
same.
then you had to go to every class that you missed, and the teacher would sign it, and it would go back to the administrative office at the end of the day. So if
Eric and I are like,
I
oh, that
had,
would,
yeah, I had friends
tell us more, Grandma.
who would go to homeroom so that they wouldn't get marked out of school for the day. But if you did that, you couldn't then go to the office and get a readmit slip because you were actually in school that day.
Yeah.
So we had a friend that worked in the office and would give us a stack of blank readmit. I mean, would give them,
Oh.
not us, them, a stack of blank readmit slips. We had a friend who was an artist and would draw
The timestamp?
the timestamp on the readmit slip.
I love
Never
it.
once did I get caught. I mean, did they get caught?
They get caught.
Never once
The
did they get
notorious
caught.
them.
The notorious them.
That's
yeah, exactly.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's usually when I use my mom's signature.
They didn't care.
No, they didn't. You're here. Who cares?
Like, I would show back up for school the next day if I missed a day. And I remember in elementary school, certainly I brought a note back. But once I was in, like, high school, they couldn't care less.
Yeah.
You just show up the next day, and they'd literally say, like, "Did you bring a note?" "No." "Okay." I mean, like,
Unexcused.
it's just,
Well,
It was
for,
it was,
for
it was
us,
an unexcused absence, which,
Yep.
right.
okay.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
excuse,
do?
Is it going on my
unexcused.
permanent record?
I know.
That's literally what they.
So-
remember that?
You know, Patrick, I was looking at your permanent records today, and I noticed that you missed a few days in high school. For us, if you missed homeroom, it would trigger a phone call to your house. That's why we had to go to homeroom before. They had to go to homeroom
Before skipping.
before they skipped out and hopped the fence and ran off.
I never had a homeroom, like a real like homeroom. We had first period, but I never had a homeroom.
We had a first period, no homeroom.
I never like middle school, high school, never anything like that.
Well, our
But,
homeroom,
but I think
our
my sister
homeroom
did. I
was
think
like our-
Melissa did, but I didn't.
Our homeroom was like our second period class. Whatever class it was,
Yeah,
that was your homeroom.
Oh.
So if you had biology second period, that classroom was your homeroom.
yeah. We. I see. I see. But no, they didn't even.
Yeah.
I
something
never
like that,
skipped
but-
school. And on the day that you could skip school, like it was senior skip school day, I didn't skip school. Of course, on my senior year, I only had half days, so I was out by 11 a.m. because I had a job and I already had all my credits done. I graduated with honors, so I can't say that, mom showing up at a dance to see if I was still there or signing mom's name was anything that prevented me from graduating
Yeah.
High school are in a good manner. It cracks me up. Those are the things that we did do.
The biggest trouble that I ever got into was, so when I was in 10th grade, I used to smoke. A lot of people know that, but
What?
cigarettes.
Okay.
And I had my old car,
What kind?
Marlboro Reds.
Yeah, nice.
So
Classy.
my mom had a key to my car. Well, I would drive to school, and I had an old beat-up El Camino. And one day, I'm sitting in class, and all of a sudden, I get a note from the teacher, and the note just says, "Your mom borrowed your car. She'll have it back before the end of the day."
Oh, and your cigarettes were in
And she
there.
found
And
the
I left them
cigarettes.
sitting in
Oh,
the middle
no.
of the console.
How'd she handle that?
So I was sweating bullets the entire
Of course
day.
you were.
When I get out of class, I go running down there. The car's in the parking lot, exactly where I left it. And as I walk up to the driver's side door, there is a pack of Marlboro Reds that is all squished and smashed, laying on the ground.
Did you ever
And
talk about it?
Oh, talk. She didn't talk.
There were no
She talked
words.
with that belt, let me tell you. Because I walked in that door and it went to swinging.
Ooh-wee.
And it never hit my butt once. It was my back and legs.
Oh.
Ow.
But it still didn't stop me from smoking.
I was going to say, did it stop you from
No.
smoking? And she knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
It was proven a point.
I told you I tried so hard when I was in high school to smoke, and it just never took. I just couldn't get down with it. Didn't like it. I tried though, man. All the cool kids smoked.
Really?
I wanted to smoke so bad, and just
I didn't think they were the cool kids.
you know. Well, when I was going to school, all the cool kids smoked, all of them. So
We had a hallway that had to walk in front of the gym, and it was also the hallway that had the soda machines. So if you wanted something different,
Mhm.
spend your own money, you had to walk down said hall. Well, all the jocks and popular kids hung out in that hallway on the 12-minute break. It was a bigger break. And at lunch hour, they'd hang out in that hall. I hated walking down that hallway because they were all sitting there. It was like they were watching you walk.
oh, you're on the runway.
Oh my gosh, I hated even as a senior with my fellow senior friends who were jocks and all that, the popular kids. I was a drama and choir geek.
You were dramatic.
I was. And but to walk down that
She's
hall
outgrown
was
that, though.
so nerve-wracking. I don't know. Just one all.
I don't know that I had that in high school, but I went to the nerd school, so it was, half the school was performing arts magnet, the other
Yeah.
half the school was, not education. What do they call it? Academic magnet. So, with really smart people or extremely talented people, neither of which was me. So I just kind of like bounced between the two,
Right,
I could play saxophone, so I got along with the artistic people. And I was reasonably smart when it came to math and science, which got me with that group of people. I was great at English and literature. I just hated it. Oh, like it's so funny how, like when we put a email out or newsletter out in the company, I am such a stickler on
You're the proofreader.
making sure it's good and looks nice and yada yada. In high school, if you'd have told me I'd been doing that, I'd been like, "You're so full of it. I don't care. I hate this stuff. I absolutely hate it." But nowadays, it's like, no, you got to have good grammar. You got to have not when you're talking, certainly, because on this show I've proven I can't do that. But
I
when
just
it's
hit a little button for AI.
when it's going out in print, AI is not always right.
I write it out, and then I hit AI and let it rewrite correct grammar and punctuation and all that, and I'm done.
I still have fun with AI, but sometimes it's a little confused. I did like we were playing around with it in London, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I know where was it? No, I'm sorry. Yes, in London, but no, this time was with y'all, Mel and Vince, and I was like, "Give me a jambalaya recipe," and it gave me one like a traditional Northern Louisiana with tomato and all that stuff, and I'm like, "No, give me one that doesn't have all that." And it spit one out, and I read through it, and I'm like, well, that's a really good recipe. Like they kind of nailed it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's fun. I'm still worried about where it's going creatively and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm glad the writer strike happened and it's over with because I could see that getting really ugly really quick. Because that it's getting so smart so quick. Remember
Sure.
when Siri was an idiot? And now she's like smart?
Not yet, but
Not
she's
yet.
getting there.
Come September,
No,
be smarter.
beginning of next year.
Well,
Is
that's
that when it's being?
It's been pushed
Okay.
back. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I've already been running the beta, but it's better than what it was.
Yeah.
But she's going to be getting really smart.
Interesting.
good. Well, I've always said she needed to go to college. I mean, the fact that they, only gave her a high school education, it's like, what are you doing?
For a while, I think it was grade school.
There was a moment where it was like, "Hey Siri, call Eric," and she'd be like, "Texting Vince, I hate you," and it's like, "What? That's not what I said. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, for a little while there, she was a little.
He still yells at her every day.
That's funny. I asked her today for a zip code. Not once in any of the 4 suggestions she gave me did it even give me a remote area where I'm like, never mind, I'll just Google it myself with my fingers and keyboard.
Here's one that's fun. So my phone is actually a second phone. I had water damage to my previous phone, so all that about you can take it into the water, it's all crap. You can't take an apple into the water.
Yes, you can.
I have
I have.
in the ocean
I have too.
purposefully.
And when I went to Apple to get something done, they said, "I'm sorry, you have water damage, and we won't cover it under warranty."
Interesting.
It still worked fine. I never had an issue with it, but and the issue wasn't even related. It was a camera lens that was cracked. Had nothing to do with water. But anyways, so $100 they sent me a new phone because I did have the warranty thing, and so I have a new phone. And when I set it up, I was in a rush, and so I just said, "No, Siri, I don't really need her," so I didn't set her up. She just magically started working, and I'm like, "Well, that's fascinating. I've never turned her on, never set her up, but she's there now."
Wow.
I'm not upset. 'Cause she is handy, but it's just interesting. That's all.
Very interesting. That is creepy.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No.
We're
What are
only
we here talking
we're
about?
only 30 minutes in, and we need
Well-
to start talking about what we're here for.
Summer recap.
Summer recap part 3.
Toi.
Tress.
Yeah, I think it's Vince and I's turn.
I believe it is, and we're gonna start in May, and action.
Well, May happened. Our summer starts in early June.
No, it started in May.
Okay, what happened in May?
So in May we went camping.
We did.
Yeah, just south here, down by Circleville.
We did.
It was a test run.
Yes, it
trying some new
was.
things, testing some
We did
stuff
a little dry
out.
camping. It was
A
fun.
little dry camping. Don and Jerry visited us for a day.
Yeah.
Came down, and then
Where was
we
that?
went. That was down in Circleville.
We went camping.
Oh, it was
We're
us.
camping with
That was in May?
yes, with y'all.
Yeah,
That was the test run
It
to
was
see
in
if
May. Yeah.
things were going to work out.
we talked about that on the podcast, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was one of
Yeah.
the last things we talked about.
One thing. Did we talk about what happened at the lake?
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, did we?
With your little mishap.
Your
No,
little,
I didn't have a mishap.
your little oopsie doopsie.
Yeah, I'm a little
your little,
okay.
your
All
little
right.
whoopee wop.
So that's where we started.
That's where our summer started.
That's where our summer started. Was with the camping
with an
trip,
oopsie.
and then early June
Yes.
we were going to Cincinnati for a baseball game.
Yes,
We were going to watch the Reds and the White Sox play, I believe.
it was.
And we decided to make a weekend out of it. It's a Thursday night baseball game. Let's make a weekend out of it. So we took the RV, found a campground there near Cincinnati near the stadium.
Yep.
And camped again. We didn't spend very much time in the camper.
It was Tucker's Landing. It was the closest thing to the city. Everything seemed to be very
Did they
far
pay
out.
you for that endorsement?
No, I'm not endorsing.
Okay.
But their campground was very nice.
What would you endorse?
Well, okay. It was nice. It was clean. It was all concrete. It provided the services that we needed.
Provided a place to park the RV
That's
and
what it did.
call it a night. Yeah.
That's right. The only thing that would have been nice is if you had your own fire pit. They don't have your own fire pit. You have to go down to the community one down along the riverbank. But the whole RV park was on the river. So it was very nice. The views were gorgeous. Again, it wasn't too far from where we chose to play, whether that be Cincinnati or on the Kentucky side, which, go ahead. So it was within driving distance. Again, all the other ones I checked out were like 30 miles away from Cincinnati.
Oof.
They don't have anything close. And I think that's because it's all city. So we went for the weekend.
Yeah, went for the weekend. Had a great time.
No,
Watched the baseball game.
We did. That was fun.
It was fun. Then we went down. That was Thursday. Friday we went down into town. We did a walking tour of historic breweries.
Lager. Brewery lager.
Historic breweries
Yes.
Breweries.
in Cincinnati. Part of it was going into a loggering tunnel
Yes.
where it was back in the day underground tunnels where they actually lagered the beer, which basically means they aged it. So a lager is an aged beer. That was a lot of fun, a lot of history there. Even though we're not big beer drinkers, it was still a lot of fun. We just hung out around downtown for a little bit.
It was like a 2-hour tour. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's better than the 3-hour tours.
It is.
Three
I've heard
hours-
bad things about the
2
3-hour
hours
tours.
was a little much. The guy was really stretching his verbiage at the end. Like we were all done, but he was trying to give you your 2 hours that you paid for.
Yeah.
But
He
it-
got
it
very
was-
Shakespearean. He's like,
I don't know
and
if he got
thou
Shakespeare.
this thus.
No, but it was nice. It was really nice. I enjoyed myself.
So we also did a couple other bars in the Cincinnati side and across the river on the Kentucky side in Covington, Kentucky. A couple other cool bars. Did a steamboat tour up and down the river. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
It's fun to see the river from a different perspective. You know, from the water side versus on the shore.
They were
So-
doing a game, and when we went by, they do fireworks or a cannon, something, or maybe they just screamed. But it sounded really cool from the water side.
Yeah, that did sound really cool. I think somebody hit a home run. So they
Oh.
did fireworks in the
Fireworks.
outfield. Yeah,
Yeah, so that was really
Yeah.
neat to be on the water to see that
that was cool.
during that
That
time.
was cool.
Oh, so Oh, that's right. Because baseball games they do like one a night. So like you went to the one before, but there'd be another one the next
So
night.
we went to one on Thursday, and they're almost every night. We did the steamboat tour on Saturday, so it was an earlier game. It wasn't the later 7:10 game. It was like a 5:10 game, I think.
Was it the same teams?
I think so.
I think it was. If Thursday, Thursday was a late game, so Saturday would have been the same team. Yes.
Yeah. So, because when we went out to Atlanta and saw the Boston versus
On the Braves.
and the Braves,
hmm
that was the same thing. They played like 3 games back to back.
Right. Yeah.
It was such a good game. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just clarification. But steamboat, I am curious too. Authentic, real steamboat, or like a really nice fake?
No, it was an authentic, real steamboat.
That's cool.
It was a smaller one. I'd never been on a steamboat this small before. The one that we went on in New Orleans was much larger.
Yeah.
This was a smaller steamboat, but it was just they had a dining room that wasn't open because we weren't there for the dining portion of the tour. We were just there for a couple hour up and back ride on the boat. So that was fun.
They have a cocktail bar open?
The cocktail bar was open. Yes. Yeah.
I thought the history that he provided was pretty cool of the river and how things worked. I can't remember all of the history, but I could just remember being in that moment and going, I didn't realize X, Y, and Z, or how long something took to go from point A to point B, because they had markers. And when you hit a certain marker, you knew you were like halfway there, or you're almost there. And just the history behind the Ohio River, because that's what it is, on travel and the economy and way back when. And that's kind of what we did. We did like the historic talk tour, or they shared history from both sides because, you know, that divider is the state line, or how the river is more Kentucky than it is Ohio.
Yeah.
You would think it'd be kind of like, let's just divvy it down the middle. But Kentucky has more of the river than Ohio has in their state line.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the history behind what he was sharing.
So Cincinnati was a lot of fun. A lot more to it than just Cincinnati when you take into account the Kentucky side as well.
Yes, I agree.
So that was a lot of fun. I think the next weekend, or was it 2 weekends later, we went to the air show here in Columbus.
Oh, we did do that.
Only we did the bootleg version, right?
We did do
Was
it.
this
You
the
can-
same one that we did?
Yes.
The same one,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Different planes.
They didn't have the Blue Angels. They had the Thunderbirds
Thunderbirds.
Okay.
there. So we didn't actually buy tickets and go inside. There's a lot of industrial area down by the Rickenbacker Airport. It's a tiny little airport in Columbus. Tiny as relative to commercial airports.
Yeah.
It is a commercial airport, but it's got like 2 gates, and it's where the discount airlines fly out of Columbus versus John Glenn International Airport.
It's definitely a cargo airport.
Yes, cargo, because that's where
Like-
all the industrial,
Yeah.
Amazon is down there, all the big warehousing and stuff is down in that area, down in Obitz. If you've been to Loves and Obitz, a mile down the road, further down is where Rickenbacker is. So lots of industrial, lots of grassy areas. So we joined a bunch of folks on the grass field or front yard or backyard of these big industrial warehouses.
Yeah.
We're all closed
Set
on
up
the
our chair.
weekend.
They're all closed on the weekend. Set up our chairs and hung out and watched the planes. You couldn't really hear the announcer, which we figured we couldn't from out there anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But you could see the planes were going right over your head. You could see what was going on. That was a lot of fun. So we're sitting there enjoying the air show, and there's traffic going by, and motorcycles are going by. And Melissa says to me,
These
"We need to get
annoying motorcycles.
Exactly. If we need to get another motorcycle, because before we came on the road, I had a bike when we first met,
Yep.
and sold it when we came on the road, and she had ridden with her ex-husband on the back of his bike. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is just going to be a fleeting thing. We're not going to buy a bike. So as we're driving home from the air show, she sees more bikes. She's like, "What kind of bike would you want?" So I tell her what I'm looking for, and go on Marketplace and see what you can find. She starts rattling off bikes and pricing and stuff. So a couple of days later, I'm like, well, maybe she was serious. So I hop on Marketplace and I find a bike that I like, and the price was right. It was a 2013 Triumph Trophy with 16,000 miles on it. I started doing research, and it's the style of bike. It's a sport touring bike, which is the kind of bike I like. Started doing research, and it's a great bike. Everything I read says it's a great bike. So I send over the Marketplace ad thinking nothing will come of it. She says, "Call the guy, see if we can go see it." So I'm like, okay, she's getting serious.
Yeah.
Her very next text is, "I'm looking at financing now." Okay, she's serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I send the guy a message, and later on that evening, the ad comes down. Like, okay, well, missed that one. We'll look for a different one. Well, the next day, the ad is back up. Maybe the sale fell through.
Yeah.
So I hop back on, send him a message, "Hey, I'd still like to come see the bike." And he's like, "Well, come on up." And the bike's in Akron. So we're in Columbus. Bike's in Akron, about 2 hour drive.
Is that crazy?
Not crazy. So we head up there and see the bike, talk to the guy, really nice guy. Take him for a test ride and rode great. It was what I wanted. So we made the deal. So we went back up
Just the weekend before 4th of July.
the weekend before 4th of July. Yeah, we went back up.
Yep.
The plan was for me to ride the bike down. Melissa's going to drive the car. But there were thunderstorms in the forecast, and I hadn't ridden in 4 or 5 years. So we thought better of me riding the bike down in thunderstorms. We actually rented a U-Haul trailer here in Columbus for $15
Yep.
For the day. Went up and got it and brought it back.
Is it just a generic flatbed, or I've seen some that are like small for motorcycles?
It was.
So U-Haul does have a motorcycle trailer. It's a 4x8 trailer.
Yeah.
And it has a wheel chock in the front of it. They'll only rent those for local rentals.
Okay.
They have a 5x8, and some of those have the wheel chock. All of them don't, but you can still get a motorcycle in that trailer.
Yeah.
And it works just fine. So the 4x8 was perfect for us. It's small, lightweight, perfect for us. So
Very cool.
We
we
got
got-
Human Bean that weekend.
we did get
too.
Human Bean that weekend, our favorite coffee
I was
place.
so
Yeah.
excited.
We got
It's okay. It's not Starbucks, but
we got probably 2 minutes of rain the entire trip there. So it was, but
so it's
safety
money
first.
well spent, right?
Money well spent. Again,
15 bucks wasn't bad
15
for.
bucks for
Yeah.
the trailer for a day.
Yeah.
So it was easy. It was an easy decision to make. So went up and got the bike.
Yeah.
The next day I went for a little ride. So I'm working on getting my sea legs back. I haven't ridden in a while.
Proficiency.
Proficiency. Thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't want to put Melissa on the back of the bike, and I'm still trying to figure out what I need to do, and things
Especially
haven't
with
come
a
back
new
yet.
bike.
Yeah, a new to me bike. So I'm trying to learn that bike still too. So the next weekend we didn't go out because the next weekend was 4th of July.
And where do we go?
We went to visit my little brother.
In Peoria, Illinois.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we found another campground in Peoria.
Was it
just
sponsored
on
by
the
Caterpillar?
east side of the west. It was not.
It
On
was
the east side of the lake.
it was sponsored by Triple Dipples.
Triple Dipples, yeah.
That's the cheesecake place that we've sent so many drivers to. If you're ever in Chillicothe, Illinois. It's called Triple Dipples. You can get trucks down in that little downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should go over and check out their cheesecakes, their little mini cheesecakes. Yes, selfless plug for Triple Dipples.
I have been told about these.
we
How
didn't
long
bring
have we known each
anything
other?
back.
How long have we known each other?
A hot
About
moment.
6 months.
About 6 months.
Yeah,
I've been hearing about it every single day, 2-3 times a day for 6 months.
at least.
They go. They have a vehicle. They can freeze the cheesecakes
Yeah.
and bring
That's
them back.
true. We did.
And we didn't.
And they were like,
We're on
no.
keto.
Well,
they
you
were
know,
like, oh, Patrick and Eric would love these.
but
No, it's Jerry's favorite dessert ever.
We
No,
didn't bring
I
it's
any
love
back.
Don's
cheesecake.
favorite dessert ever. No.
had you not been in Europe, maybe we would have bought you some. So,
They do
we're-
freeze well.
we've been doing pretty.
We were gone
Say,
for a few
freezer
minutes.
lasts a while.
Yeah.
They do.
He actually sells them frozen just for that reason.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was pure spite.
Pure spite.
No.
Pure spite. On my part, it was pure spite. I don't know what it was for her. On my part, it was pure spite. But we are doing pretty strict keto.
We are.
So we weren't going to eat them. We let him know we weren't going to eat them. So usually he sends us home with a bunch of them.
And when I mean a bunch, like his whole store freezer
Yeah,
collection,
exactly. Like, here, just take
including the
the whole thing.
moon pies or the oatmeal
Oh.
pies or
Yeah.
whatever he makes. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, we're like, just no. Just no.
Yeah. So
I thought we were friends. Didn't you?
Well,
we,
Our,
you know,
will,
It feels-
our
this
willpower
feels
might
like
not have been so
betrayal.
good, so we said no.
Trail.
we had just started and we didn't want to mess it up. So
I wouldn't be able
it's
to.
only it's only a 6-hour drive. So feel free to hop in the car tomorrow morning and head up there.
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
It's a beautiful drive.
Look at Eric. Eric's like, "Mm, all right."
Yeah.
He's like,
Jerry?
"Hey,
Right.
we got to stretch the legs in
hey."
that acre, don't we?
There you go. Yep.
You know, I'm ready for a road trip.
I think
Are you?
I think
'Cause-
the real
All right, well,
trucker
you're taking
couple,
that-
Steve and Darnisha, they've been there.
They have been
Yeah.
there.
And one other team that brought us some. Why can't I remember their name?
Yes, I remember that team. They're not with us anymore, but
They brought you some, and not.
Yes, they brought them to us
If
at
you
Expo
are
last
listening
year.
to this, and you are going through there on your way to Columbus, Ohio.
Foreman's.
The Foremans
The Foreman's
did.
bought some for us.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
They brought us some last year at Expo. So
Yeah.
again, if you're delivering up in the Peoria, Illinois
If you're
area,
delivering,
check out.
if you're delivering to Caterpillar up there in Peoria,
You've no
whether
excuse.
it's East Peoria, plenty of Caterpillar places, swing through Chillicothe and grab some cheesecake.
And if you're going
You
to return
won't-
to Columbus,
Yes.
just remember Jerome Barrow, your favorite maintenance guy, Don, Patrick and Eric. We all love and adore cheesecake, and
We
you
should
know,
have done it.
it
Yeah.
never hurts brownie
Yeah.
points, does it?
The phone
No.
number will be at the bottom of the screen. Give us a call. Any one of us will come out and
Yes.
meet you.
Yes,
Meet you
yes.
anywhere.
Vince is in the yard Monday through Friday, 8
Oh,
to
if
4.
you reach the yard, they'll go straight in the trash.
Yeah. We did
Um,
stay at a campground there.
We
Again,
did see a
we
campground
did
there
camp.
again on the river on the they call it the Peoria Lake.
It was a lake, but it's part of the Illinois River.
Yeah,
Like a dammed up section of the
It
river.
is.
yeah,
Okay,
kind of
yes.
like a little offshoot. So,
Yes.
so that was the Mill Point campground, completely different campground than Tucker's Crossing in Cincinnati.
Completely.
It
100
was
degree.
Very, very rural. There were no concrete pads.
Nope.
We were told to pick a spot out of like 3 or 4 different
It
spots.
was very nice.
So we picked the flattest one we could possibly find. You did have your fire pit. You did have your picnic table. Full hookups, of course. Really nice, really quiet.
I'd stay there again in a heartbeat.
I'd stay no Wi-Fi though. That was an issue. So you had to make sure you had a different spot where they had Wi-Fi so you could work if you needed to.
Or get Starlink.
Well,
I mean,
if you're
we
gonna-
wanted a
yeah.
river views, and
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi just didn't come that
Didn't
far
come
out.
that far. Yeah.
So I think if you were closer to their office, you might have been able to get Wi-Fi.
Well, I was noticing because I looked at Starlink the other day. They had some kind of sale or something, and I was like, all right, let me look see what they're talking about. I didn't buy anything, but I did see that their travel version of Starlink can be turned on and off.
Right. So you're not paying
So
for
you're
it
not
all
paying
the
for
time.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
you only
nice.
you only pay
It
for
is
it when you
nice.
use it. So
It is
that
nice.
seemed pretty slick.
Yeah.
I could see it because
Did we-
it's expensive.
Yeah.
But if I'm taking a big week-long road trip, it's really not that
Sure.
expensive.
Sure.
Did we have Wi-Fi at Mill Point? Not Mill Point.
Tucker's Crossing?
Tucker's
We did.
Crossing. Okay, so
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
we
at
did.
Tucker's.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was all concreted at Tuck. Like
At-
Vince is saying,
In
very
Cincinnati, all
different.
concrete.
Yes.
In
Peoria,
Peoria,
not.
it was not concrete. So
No.
very different. Big shade trees. It's
It was
just gorgeous.
beautiful.
Just gorgeous.
I love those
Um,
campgrounds.
And again, right there, again, on the water, on the little inlet. So it was nice.
How
and
was the
calm.
fishing?
I don't know.
We didn't do it either
any
time.
fishing.
You didn't bring the kayak?
No, we didn't bring the kayak. No,
We took fishing poles both times.
Yeah,
No
but we didn't
mishaps this
use them
time.
at all. No mishaps. So
Swampy Blues.
we did go to a minor league baseball game on 4th of July
Awesome.
and watch the fireworks after the game. That was a lot of fun. They have a great big fireworks show that you can see from all over the city. It's right on the river. See from all over the city. So it was fun to watch it there at the baseball.
And they
game.
broadcast it with music, and
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
it was pretty cool. I would have sat in different seats had I known where it was.
Sure.
However, where we sat, you could still see it. It was still awe and amazing.
Well, you just have to turn and sit sideways.
You do. Where they allowed you to come down onto the field, it would
Right.
have made more sense. Makes sense to go down on the field
Or
because you have a perfect view.
or if you
Yeah.
sat in the first baseline,
yes.
your seats were facing
Yes.
the river, and it would have been.
But
a
I thought it
different
was cool
story.
that because they cater to both sides of the river. It's either Peoria or East Peoria,
Yeah.
depending on which side of the river. And they talked about it both. So those fireworks were viewable from either side of the river,
Yeah.
from either city. So I thought it was.
Yeah.
And how long did it last?
It was at
45
least
minutes, an
45 minutes an
hour?
hour, yeah.
A fireworks?
Yes.
Fireworks.
And they were
nonstop.
put to music. And we're not just talking instrumental patriotic
Yeah.
music. We're talking rock and roll, 50s music, today's hits, country patriotic. I mean, every boom went to the music. They had it dialed in an hour's worth of fireworks. It
Yeah.
was pretty
That's-
amazing.
That's a lot.
That was
pretty cool.
worth the baseball ticket, in my opinion.
Which was not expensive as minor league games go.
I know.
So
And you
it's
had a
good.
seat.
Yeah.
You had a seat. The fun part though was going back to the campground after the baseball game.
At
Little
night.
traffic.
No.
Well,
Or just
there was
no
some,
light.
there was some traffic, but it was traffic in the air. There was a mayfly hatch.
Oh.
If you've never seen a mayfly hatch, there's got to be a video on YouTube somewhere of mayflies hatching. There are millions of them, and they swarm, and it sounded like it was hailing
It did.
on the car. That's how loud these things are because they hit and they pop. It was just insane. So as we're driving on this road, that was the rolling hills. When we went up a hill and the headlights shone up,
It
would,
looked like it was raining.
it would light them all up, and it looked like it was raining black rain. It was just that many of them.
Wow.
We get back to the RV, and they're all over the RV.
Every RV that's
Every
there
RV, everything,
is covered.
every surface
Covered.
was
Everything
covered.
is covered.
So you have to brush them off and go inside or hooks so they can come in. They don't bite. They're not going to cause any damage or any harm, but they've got to be an inch long at least, inch and a half long, with great big wings. They're on everything. So next morning we get up, go outside, and there weren't as many, but they were still covering all kinds of stuff. So
They only have
That
a
was
shelf life of what, like 24
24
hours?
hours, yeah.
Wow.
Shelf
Yeah.
life. They only live.
They-
They only live.
So you got to catch them in 24 hours, dip them in the chocolate, go ahead and get
Right.
the candy made
Exactly.
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they go bad.
Or catch them and put them on a hook and throw them in the water.
So
Yeah,
they
it's a
live in the
little fishing.
water, which makes sense because it's the river. That's
Yeah.
why there was such a big hatch. I've known them as periwinkles where I grew up in Oregon. They're actually like a hard-shelled cocoon,
Mhm.
about an inch and a half, 2 inches long of a cocoon. They live on the bottom of the water.
Mm.
Fish eat them, but when they hatch up over the river and then create swarms. They hatch a couple times a year, is what you read. I don't know what good they're for.
No, I think
basically-
they hatch in May, June, somewhere in that
Yeah,
area.
yeah. They said their last big hatch was Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because like the next day when we went out and played, everybody was like, "Did you see the hatch?" Like that was the talk of town was the
Yeah.
mayfly hatch.
Yeah.
So it was wild. Vince had never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, so we hung with my little brother and his family for a little bit. Just had some good food, tried some new restaurants that he wanted to try, and a distillery there we tried that we hadn't tried before. So it was fun. It was fun. Then Sunday we made our way back home.
Yeah, we had Human Bean on that trip too.
We did.
We got it in Indianapolis.
We did.
Just for the record, Human Bean is like our jam from Oregon. Oregon has a lot of human beans, and the further you come east, there are just not very many. And right now in Columbus, Ohio, they're 2 hours in any direction from Columbus. So Indianapolis, Akron, is it Youngstown or beyond Youngstown out on the 70?
Yeah.
The one that we went to out
yeah,
there.
I'm trying to figure what's that.
It's
That
beyond,
was
I think, not
it might
Youngstown,
be
not
Zanesville.
Youngstown, Zanesville,
Yeah, it's
beyond Zanesville. And then the next one is Lexington. So literally, they're so far away. So when you're 15 miles or 5 miles, you go and get one.
And if you're confused why they are going to a human being, it's a human bean, like as
Coffee
in Mr. Bean, as in a baked bean,
Yes.
a black bean,
A coffee bean.
a coffee bean, which brings me to my next point.
Yes.
Their trademark is on top of all their coffees, they give you a chocolate-covered coffee bean.
Yes,
Yes.
they do.
That is the best part.
Yes, it is.
So you could also go to Costco and buy chocolate-covered
Not
coffee
even
beans,
the same.
and then put that on top of your Starbucks.
Wow.
No, their coffee's better than Starbucks coffee.
Is it?
Yeah,
A very-
I think it is.
Hands down.
The only time I was there, I had one of the frozen mocha chocolate
Oh yeah, so
with
I
Yeah.
don't do that.
the chocolate chips
Yeah.
and the froth
Sorry.
and all that.
I just
it was,
do an Americano,
it was-
and their espresso
it
was
was,
really
it was
good.
pure candy.
So-
It was delicious.
good,
It was a
yeah.
coffee milkshake. I loved it.
I was spoiled when I was there, but I guess that leads us into our ending of our summer.
Was
'Cause
that the last, the only travel we did until the August?
It
trip?
was.
No,
Okay.
no. Well, maybe y'all, but not you.
Oh, that's right.
If I'm not
So
That's
mistaken,
right.
together
Yeah.
we did Peoria,
Yeah.
and then that brings us up to like 2 weekends ago. But there was a U trip in between.
I was trying to suppress that trip because, believe it or not, that trip was more traumatic than the
Mayflies.
tipping over in the kayak trip.
I believe that. Well, you had
Oh.
a smile on your face when you tipped over in the kayak.
I was having fun,
So we had
and I was in my element.
yeah, we had a team that was out in Maryland, and their truck broke down. And while they were actually at the shop waiting, they had a terrible family situation happen, and they had to go home. And they're like, "We're going to be gone for a while," so they actually packed their stuff and went home.
Yeah.
We're hoping they come back soon, but they're sorting that out, and our thoughts and prayers are with them during this time. But because at the shop we had to wait for the truck to actually get repaired, and then you made the trek.
I made the trek
And,
to
went and,
Baltimore,
went and got it.
then about 2 hours southeast of Baltimore to get the truck.
Yep.
Um,
And everything went splendid. All right.
everything went fabulous. Yeah.
The end. All right, let's move on to the next
Um,
trip.
So the plan started on a Monday for this.
As in
go
Monday?
down- on Monday, the plan was to go head down there once the truck was ready and get the truck. So shop says truck's ready Tuesday. I wasn't going to book a trip until the truck was ready. The shop said truck will be ready Wednesday. It became Thursday. Then it became Friday. Well, the shop's not open on weekends, so I couldn't go down Friday to get the truck. So I went on Sunday, and to fly from here to Baltimore, from Columbus to Baltimore, is Columbus to Detroit to Baltimore.
Yes.
So it was okay. I'll leave Columbus on Sunday night. I'll be in Sunday evening. Be in Baltimore late Sunday, early Monday morning. Get in the truck and head up on Monday. Well, on Friday
Yeah.
was this fabulous.
I believe the polite phrase is meltdown.
Thank you. 'Cause
You're
I
welcome.
couldn't
Was it,
find
a,
the polite
was it a
phrase.
Microsoft meltdown?
There was a meltdown on Friday, which caused all kinds of issues and carnage with the travel system.
Just a global meltdown.
Just a global
no
meltdown.
No biggie.
Right, no huge deal. So we thought it was all taken care of by Sunday. Nah. So I fly out of here Sunday evening, head to Detroit. Get to Detroit like 9 o'clock. My flight
in the
from-
morning or
in the evening.
in the evening? Okay.
My flight from Detroit's supposed to leave at like 10.
Oh,
I get off the plane.
It's a nice,
actually,
easy walk over. You
a
got
nice,
time to
easy
kill,
walk, sure.
but it's not, yeah.
I get off the plane, take my phone off airplane mode. Bling, bling. Oh, my flight's been delayed till like 11. Okay, well, we'll go find a bar and have a cocktail and figure it out. Well, it's Sunday night in the airport in Detroit.
There's nothing.
Everything's closing.
Everything's closing.
No one's got food. The one bar that was open was like, yeah, man, you can have a seat. Last call. Okay, all right. Like I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Well,
And again, you're driving the next day.
I'm
so
driving
right
the next
now it's
day.
fine. 'Cause
Now
you're
it's
just
fine. Yeah.
You're just getting to Baltimore and going to hotel.
Right.
So
I want
yeah.
to hotel in Baltimore. I got it all worked out. Actually, my plan was get to Baltimore, get a hotel room right there at the airport,
Mhm.
get the rental car, and then the next day I had a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
Pick the car up. So I wasn't going to try and drive at midnight the 2 hours. I figured I'd do it in the daylight and just be safe.
Yeah.
So I get another alert about an hour or so later. My flight's now been delayed till 11:30. Okay, just a half hour. I should be okay. This happens again. Flight's delayed till 1 o'clock. All right, now I'm like, okay,
That sucks.
this ain't going. We're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
The airport was full. There were hundreds, if not at least 1,000 people in that airport.
Yeah.
At 11:30 at night on a Sunday.
And nothing's open.
And everyone's having the same problem. The guy sitting next to me at the bar, like, I've been here for 2 days.
Yeah. His name was Norm, right?
His name was Norm, yeah, exactly. Other folks were coming up and walking around, and everybody's talking. They've been there for days, and I'm like, I can't really complain a whole lot. I've been here for a couple hours, and these folks have been stranded here since Thursday, Friday. It's just insane. So come 2 o'clock, my flight gets canceled.
And you were like, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, yeah, surprise, surprise. So at this point, I noticed on my phone that it had been canceled. It hadn't been announced yet at the gate. So I walk over to the gate and stand in line. And there's nobody there. No customer service rep there, nothing. I just go over and stand in line because all the other Delta has 3 customer service specific customer service desk in that terminal.
Yes.
In different parts of the terminal. That terminal is like a mile long, literally.
It's huge.
And each one of those, the line was 50 people deep. This is at 9 o'clock at night.
And
still.
these are not gate agents.
No,
they're
these-
literally just customer
just
service.
customer
Like
service.
they have nothing
Nothing
no other
but.
job.
Yep. So I figure instead of going to one of those desks, I'm just going to go stand here and wait for somebody to come over. About 15 minutes later, someone comes over. Again, there's no announcement at the gate that the flight's been delayed. It's just all what you get on your phone.
Yeah.
So he comes over, he starts working it out, and I ended up getting confirmed on the 10 a.m. flight the next morning and on standby on the 7:15 flight.
7:15 a.m.
7:15 a.m.
Okay.
Both these flights
So you're
are in the
hoping
morning.
for
I'm
the
hoping for
7:15.
7:15.
Yeah.
So there's no hotel rooms. So there's no even need to try and get a hotel room.
Not at 2 in the morning.
Not at 2 in the morning, and I can find a hotel room.
Yeah.
I get a meal voucher, but that was just because everything
Nothing's
was
open.
closed, and nothing would be open in the morning before that 7 o'clock flight. So
Yeah.
let's say get on that 7 o'clock flight. The meal voucher is useless. So I went and found a corner, and
Yeah.
I set my alarm for 6 a.m., and I laid down, and I couldn't sleep.
Ugh.
So I literally walked the airport the rest of the night. Nothing else to do. The seats are
Wow.
uncomfortable. What am I going to do? Just sit around. So I just went for a walk and had a nice
so
walk.
you know Detroit Airport now.
I do. I know exactly what food items, what stores are by every gate. I mean, I don't know if they're any good because they were all closed. But I know. Like they had a map in my head of Detroit.
But you see how
Airport.
clean each one got, right?
I
You're
did,
like,
yes,
okay,
exactly.
they left trash in that floor. We don't
Exactly.
eat this one. That one's
Right.
crystal clear.
Yeah. So
What time did you make it to Maryland?
I made it. I got the 7:15 flight.
Oh.
The
Nice.
scary part there was
There was
were
no
a bunch
pilots.
of folks on
No.
standby. Yeah, there were a bunch of folks on standby for that flight, and we watched them whittle the list down to nobody. And they're like, "Okay, folks, everybody's been assigned a seat. You're all good to go." And there's 2 names on the board still.
Yours
Yes,
and
and I don't know who wrote her name. I
John
didn't care.
Smith?
So I walk over and I say, "Hey, my name's on the board still." And you guys said you signed all the seats, and they grab my boarding pass, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, hang on," blah, 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 and hand me a boarding pass, and I'm good to go.
wow.
So it was a little stressful for a second.
Yeah. Oh, you almost were going to
You
go
were-
for the 10
I was
o'clock.
gonna
Yeah.
say you were about to go Hunger Games style.
I was
you and the other guy had to fight it out.
fighting off that last
That
seat.
last seat.
Exactly.
So you sat behind the pilot.
behind the pilot in the jump seat behind
Yeah.
the pilot. Yes, I did. I gave him some pointers on how he could be a little smoother.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I work
they
with him
love
on-
that. They love that.
I work with him on the backing.
Okay.
It's like, just maybe you want to get out and look. Just
And they're
saying.
like, we're not doing anything, right? Their hands are up in the air.
exactly.
They're like, we're literally not doing a thing.
The yolks are going by themselves. Like, yeah, that's all right. So I got to Baltimore about 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
Got the rental car. Had to push the rental car back. I get to the hotel that I had booked for the night before, and I go in and I say, "Hey, I was supposed to be here last night,
Yeah.
and I just got here. Hopefully my room's ready." and I can just extend it for a day because there was no way with no sleep I was going to try and drive the 2 hours and then hop in. It was a tractor trailer, by the way. Hop in this truck and try and head back to Columbus or Medina. So yeah, my room was still available. They sent it for a night. I went and got some sleep.
You text me. You're like, I'm out. Peace out.
Yeah, I'm done.
And it was like a 12-hour sleep.
By noon, I was out.
Were they cool, or were they kind of giving you a little hassle?
No, they were cool. The room was paid for. It was.
I know. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it's probably one of the most travelingest people in this group. They're not always cool.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
I've gone to some hotels, and they're like,
yeah.
Well, you were supposed to be here by 11, and it's 11:02.
Yep.
Or 2:58. We don't check in until 3.
Right. Oh, I totally get that.
So
she was cool with it.
Cool. That's nice.
She was cool with it.
I love when you have
gave me the key and all set.
Good customer service goes so far.
Yep, it really does. It also helps when you're polite and not rude to people.
I'm not rude to strangers.
I wasn't saying you. I was just saying in general. The royal you.
Heard me
It
phrase
helps.
that?
It helps with the royal you.
The royal you.
If you are polite to people and realize that they have a job to do too.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to just be mean to you. They're just trying to do their job.
I butter people up. I put on the Southern charm.
Yeah.
I totally, because I know they probably got yelled at by the previous customer.
Sure.
So I am all about being nice. I had a guy, when we got back when we were driving, and go to a throwaway station. He asked me for something, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. He's yelling. The engines are going. I just couldn't follow me. He's like, go park and come back in here or whatever. So I go in a park, and I grab my permit book.
Right.
And I do my logging stuff, right, because got to log all that stuff. And I get out the truck, and I walk into the place, and I hand the guy the paperwork or whatever. And he's like, I was super nice and polite, and he's like, he's like, you're good. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, but again, it's just because I was being nice. Like, he's like, you're good. I'm sorry. He's like, I was like, I didn't even say like I was ready to say like I really just couldn't understand what you're saying. I'm sorry. I didn't even get that far. He just realized like just me being polite and kind of like whatever.
Yep.
He's like, you're not that guy.
Yep.
So, but I didn't mean to sidetrack your
No,
story.
but
Hey,
that
on a
works.
side note,
That
though,
works.
I heard you mention tractor.
Yeah. You know Highfield Trucking?
What?
We do run tractors.
John Deere's.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Yeah, John
Since
Deere
when?
tractors. We've run tractors for about a year and a half now. Yeah.
So this is what you're going to go pick up?
So I was going to pick up a tractor. They're beautiful tractors, 144-inch custom sleepers. They're big. They're big mamma jammas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But are they nice?
Very nice.
They drive good.
They drive great.
What about bumps?
They bumps are bumps,
Yeah.
But
They smooth the bumps out?
handle the bumps very well.
Okay.
Very well.
Enough
Yeah.
power?
Plenty of power.
They're not like those gutless wonders that the big guys have?
No, they're not the gutless wonders. These things have plenty of power. I was pulling an empty trailer, so I can't say I was running fully loaded up the hill at 65.
But you're pulling an empty reefer trailer.
Empty reefer trailer's got some weight on it.
Got some weight on it.
I had no problem getting around people that were slower than me.
Were you ready to send Melissa to Swift to go get her 6 months experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Wherever she needs to go to get her experience, she needs to go.
There was
Yeah.
So back in 2010, I think 2012, something like that. Stoops Freightliner built 2, maybe 4 of the tractors that are just like them. They the Bolt 144, 150 inch sleepers, Cascadias, beautiful trucks, and he built them on spec, just to sell.
Right.
And nobody's buying. It was just like a weird time in the economy. Nobody bought them, and so he ended up having the frames on he sold 2 as tractors, and the other 2 he sold. He had the frames stretched a little bit more, and he put like 14-foot boxes on them,
that's weird.
and sold them as expediters.
Wow.
And for a long time, they were out there running. I know one of the people that bought one of the trucks. I don't know if they're still driving or not. They're with Landstar, and they actually would run 6 months, and then they would take the other 6 months off.
Wow.
And they would go and reapply and do the whole thing all over again.
Wow.
And run 6 more months during the busy season, and then they'd take 6 months off. But they owned the truck outright. They'd already paid it off.
Yeah.
When they had the loan, they were running all the time.
Sure.
But once it was paid off, but they were sweet rides. Can you imagine that thing with a 14-foot box?
Beautiful.
I'd tear the highways up.
Yeah, they're really sweet trucks. It was a nice ride all the way back.
Yeah.
It really was.
Uneventful? From Maryland to Medina to Columbus?
Yeah, most of it was uneventful. The biggest thing was turning off of a 2-lane state route to another 2-lane state route where the angle was I'm going this way and the other road went this way. And so when I got to the intersection, that's true. It was a, I don't know, 36-degree angle that I had to make a left turn onto. Is that better?
You're basically making a U-turn.
I'm making a U-turn, but I couldn't see oncoming traffic
From your right side.
from my right side. Even though I tried to set up where I could be that way, I just couldn't. It was just not the right way. So I knew my left side was clear. So I basically drove like I was going to make a right turn to be able to see clear across where I was coming from to turn back to the left to make that turn.
And probably ready to slam that brake on in case
Oh,
you see
yeah,
something.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. So that was probably in the first 30, 45 minutes of my journey. So it was, okay, how do we get this done? When I got to Medina, I had to park the trailer. So backing was a bit of a challenge. I hadn't done it in quite some time with the trailer.
Yep.
I think the U-Haul trailer I backed, but that's a different story. But it was one of those things again where it comes back to you and just stopping to think about what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I turn the steering wheel this way, I'm going to turn this way, but I need to move it so far, or I'm already too far into it where if I turn it more, it's not going to get me out of it fast enough. So you need to pull up, but also I had my trainer's voice in my head saying, if you don't move the back of that trailer, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So you got to move the back of that trailer where you need it. So you got to go a little further than what you need to do. So that took a little bit of time. I mean, it probably took me 10 minutes to get parked. Some people are like, 10 minutes? That's crazy. I would have done that. Okay, fine. It took me 10 minutes to get parked. And then I shut down for the night there at Medina and I came back home the next morning. It was a long day. I had the time. I was tired.
Yeah.
So I shut it down and got some sleep.
That's safety, though.
It is safety. I agree.
We've always practiced safety.
It is safety.
I've done that. I've pulled over the side of the shoulder, not on the shoulder, but pulled off at a rest area or whatever. And so I'm one of these people, I can do a power nap.
Yeah.
If I'm really tired,
Yeah.
I could do a 15, 20-minute nap, and I wake up, and I'm golden for 4 or 5 more hours.
Must be nice.
Eric hates it. He's like, I don't understand it. It's insanity. But I'm telling you, if I'm dead tired, like just dead tired, 15, 20 minutes of just like comatose sleep, I wake up and we're good to go. Let's do it.
I get angry.
Yeah,
I'm angry when I wake up. And usually my naps are like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
and then I still wake up angry.
If I do 2 or 3
You wake
hours,
up
I'm
angry all the
miserable.
time.
Okay, well, I wake up angry all the time.
Well, not in the morning. She gets up, does the coffee, has
Oh,
a little
no,
ritual,
no,
right?
no,
Not
no.
angry.
Don't talk
no.
to me.
Oh no, I don't talk to her in the morning. I literally do not talk to her in the morning. So.
But you go your separate ways. Your first
Yep.
conversations, like how was
Love
driving
you.
to
Have
work?
a good day. There you go. There you go.
I can take a 2-hour nap after work. Dawn will wake me up, have dinner, and then I could turn around and go right back to bed.
Oh, he does it all the
Oh,
time.
Yeah, I can too.
I can't.
Yeah,
I used to
easy.
could.
No.
Easy.
I used to could. I've lost that ability.
Give me a
If
minute,
I-
I
might
get
could
pissed
again.
off because
I-
I could have done so much during the 2 hours, even though I was tired. I wasted. That's the way I feel.
She's got FOMO.
When I wake
Oh,
up.
I don't have that. I don't
She's
have that
got
at all.
I
crazy
do.
FOMO.
I do. I'll be the first to admit I have FOMO.
If I
I missed something. Like, so I could have been doing things, mowing the lawn, washing
could
the
have been a
dishes.
contender.
I could have been doing so much in 2 hours instead of having the nap.
I don't have that
And
issue
just
at all.
waited for bed.
I don't have that issue at all because I know that if I'm going to take a nap, I am done.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I took a nap today, 22 minutes. That's what I set my alarm for, 22 minutes, and it
It
recharged
takes me 22 minutes just to fall asleep,
Seriously. Hey, man. High five.
even if I'm dead tired.
Honestly, I probably slept for 5 minutes. But look at me now. I'm wide awake and with it and
Yeah.
everything. I don't mind it. If I'm taking a nap, it's because I need one. I'm not one of those people who's like, well, it's kind of a lazy Saturday afternoon. Let me go take a nap.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'd rather go do something, or if I'm not going anywhere, then it's like, well, let's go in the backyard and have a drink and do
Sure.
some weeding or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need
But-
2 to 3 hour block
I
out
can't do
for in
that.
case of a nap.
That's a Sunday after dinner, after church, after dinner.
No.
That's a nap, 2-3 hours, and then you wake up and you feel miserable. I used to do that all the time, and I'm like, I will not do that again.
You're talking about a Thanksgiving, Christmas Day now.
Any of those.
Well, we were like, every Sunday we went to church Sunday morning and Sunday night. So it was go to church, then go to like a high-end, super nice restaurant like Ryan's Buffet, and or maybe the Piccadilly, or maybe the Golden Corral when the Golden Corral finally came to town,
Right.
or Western Sizzlin'. I don't know if that.
Oh yeah, I used to work at one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Got a winner over there?
Ding ding.
I was 16, dishwasher.
Really?
Yep.
They had dishwashers?
Yep.
It was not the ideal model of hygiene, but you could get like a $3 steak.
Nice.
It was not bad. It really wasn't
A
terrible.
level up from Waffle House.
I wouldn't say that, but
I just want to see if I can get your goat.
but I mean I so you do that and then you go home and you take a nap.
Yeah, I
And
get
then
it.
you get up in 2 hours and then like get ready for church and go back and just be miserable. I never
Sure.
understood. I hated that. So when I finally grew up and went to college and then I started going to a church that only had Sunday morning service, I'm like, this makes so much more sense. Like Sunday night, you're done. You're wasted.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a small group, because I did some of that stuff where you're just hanging out with a group of your peers and it's social and whatever. That was cool. But to do the whole rigmarole, it was like, this is brutal. Yeah, but the 2-3 hour thing, I just can't. I can't do that anymore. I don't have it in me.
So we're almost up on fall. September. Do you consider that fall? Or is October fall?
Depends on the weather.
Okay.
Like the weather tells
Okay.
me whether it's fall or not.
So no weather. Just we're basing seasons off of.
September 21st.
Okay.
I say September.
Okay.
I used to say late August.
So we have one more vacation that we took in this summer. If we're going to
Yeah.
start September-ish as a new season.
Well, tell us about that vacation.
Pray tell.
So we went to the Rogue Valley in Medford, Oregon.
You did?
Yeah, we did. I went with you and Eric and Vince.
We did?
We did. We just did it like the beginning of August.
We did.
We did?
Where were you?
I don't
anyway,
know. The last few weeks have been a blur.
we so for me, had my older son and his girlfriend flying from Arkansas. It was super fun. My younger one and his wife currently live there. The bestie lives there. We all hooked up at a
Really cool.
Airbnb. It was a beautiful, aged, older.
It's-
I don't know what the word I
It
want to
was
say.
an older house. It felt like we took over Grandma's house and Grandma left.
It
Yes,
totally
it did.
did. It suited our needs.
Tons of bedrooms.
3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, kind of an attic-y space with like a kids zone. It was really cool. We didn't have any kids, but 3 bathrooms, the kitchen. It just was set up really cool. Had a pool and a hot
Thank
tub.
you. I was like, can we
Which
get to the
is
pool already?
really what I wanted,
right.
So after we were done playing for the day and the activities that I had planned, that we could retire to the house and have pool and fun and shenanigans, which we did. Which pool volleyball was a
Pool
really good time.
volleyball.
Pool volleyball.
like,
That was
Made
a
up,
blast.
made up rules. If y'all have made your own games in life with family, it's a lot of fun. Patrick and Vince had made up volleyball rules the night before, and
well,
then
let's.
they got us all in there. But we did limo wine tour. If you haven't done it,
Yes.
it's not Casey's limo. What is it? Shoot, I wanted to give him a shout out.
You know, the link will be in the description.
Yes.
It will be.
So he does not just the wine tours, but he'll pick the wine areas in the valley that you want. So whether that's Applegate or Ashland or the Eagle Point area, we did the Applegate, which I absolutely loved.
And even if you're driving and you're there,
Yes,
like for the weekend, because they had some truck stops there,
they did.
and you happen
yeah.
to be there for
Yeah.
the weekend, and you know you're not going to be driving, and maybe you're going to get a hotel.
Yes.
This would be a cool thing to do.
Yes.
Again, if you're driving and all that stuff, don't even attempt
No,
it.
no,
but
no, no, no.
but if you're
If you're gonna be there
not,
for the
if
weekend.
you're gonna be there for the weekend,
Yeah.
this is a cool way to kill a
And he does
Saturday.
different
So-
things, different holidays. Like he does like Halloween for the lights and the things,
Yeah.
and Christmas for the lights. I mean, he does
It
different
doesn't
things.
have to be just a wine tour.
No.
It can be any
So-
kind of thing.
And he's super
You
nice,
know,
Very
very
nice.
accommodating.
Quinceañera, and I probably totally
quinceañera.
yes, or dances or proms. I mean, he does all sorts of things
Right.
with his limos, and he has different sizes for different groups.
Yeah.
He accommodated our 10. It was a 4-hour window. He took us to 3 vineyards, 2 of which were Vince and I's suggestion because they are our favorites. Again, it was out in the Applegate Valley. Do your research. It's in the Rogue Valley, but it's called the
Right
Applegate
off
Valley.
of I-5,
Yes.
just north of
You rent
the
a car, do
California,
it.
Oregon border.
So we did that. We
It's
had a
beautiful.
lovely time. They are dealing with wildfires. I felt
Yes.
like the smoke blew out for a majority of that day.
It did.
And then on that day, we retired back again, pool and barbecued. And then Saturday, we did one of our favorite locations, which was Mimosas. A little bit of a wait. I thought it was worth it. I don't know if anybody else does, but it was fun. And go ahead.
Absolutely, it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Because it's like
You've
not,
heard us
not
talk about it.
Not only is it like a place that means something to y'all on a like relationship / spiritual / like great memories of. It was the best mimosa I've ever had.
It was good mimosas.
They
yeah.
actually do private label champagne, so they actually like dialed in their recipe to make sure it goes well with the fruit juice, and they had tons of options.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did.
yeah.
And you can do
Yeah.
pictures.
You can do pictures, crafts, large, small, like
Yeah.
tons of options. I think we also got, if I'm not mistaken, we got an extra bottle of champagne.
We did.
Because we wanted to, like when you got halfway down, you just top off the champagne, not so much the fruit
And
juice.
it worked for everybody.
It worked for everybody. It was a lot of fun. Again, none of us were driving that day. We were in the limo. Not in the limo. We were doing
No,
the
we
jet
were in a
boat
jet
tour.
boat that
Right.
day.
She'll get to
Yeah.
that in a second. But it was a lot of fun. The food was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was so wild. So they had flies out there, which, if you eat outside, you take the gamble, right?
You do.
But they had these really cool, they look like fans, but they weren't fans. They didn't blow any air. They were just shiny, and they spun around, and they
kept the flies
they
away.
sat on the table, and they kept the flies away. All the flies were gone.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was the coolest thing ever.
I thought the misters helped too. When they started the
Yes.
misters behind us, that
Yeah.
kind of killed the fly
the
population.
sun also moving
Yes.
helped
Yep.
Yeah.
tremendously.
Yeah.
So on Saturday after mimosas, we went down to Rogue Jets jet boats, and it is what we chose to do was a 2-hour scenic tour. It's 2 hours down the Rogue River or up and down total, and
It was longer than 2 hours.
it's supposed to be 2 hours.
I know, but it was closer
So
to like 2
they
hours,
talk to
45
you about
minutes.
the history and the whatever, and they have to navigate the river accordingly. They do some tricks, and you get wet, and they do also a brunch, and they do a dinner. We opted not to because we had brunch, and then again at the end of Saturday, we went back to the Airbnb, and we, played in the pool and had a good time, and that's where we did the pool volleyball with. It was fun. It was good times.
It's a good time.
And then the 3 of you flew out on Sunday. I stayed a following
did.
week. And on the following Saturday, I did a baby shower for my youngest and his wife, who are expecting their first. So
exciting.
that is our summer. And it has been a great summer. I am looking forward to September and what it holds.
I agree, but you're not getting off that easy. So I love amusement parks. Jerry and I, and Eric too, we have that thrill ride, roller coaster, let's get crazy gene. I don't know what that is. But we do love that stuff. I will do the tallest, fastest, scariest, upside downest,
No.
twist you around roller coaster. I don't care what it is. I will be scared. You can ask Eric. There have been times I've been in line legitimately nervous about what we're about to do. I'm still getting on it. I'm still doing it. Right? And I love that stuff. I hate when you go to a theme park and you do a water ride. So like the log flume or something like that where you end up like going down the hill and it does the big splash and
Right.
you get wet. I hate those. Hate with a burning passion those. Someone, I'm not going to say who because Melissa told me not to use her name, did not tell me or Eric that this was a wet event. She said we're doing a scenic boat tour. A scenic boat tour. Does a scenic boat tour to you sound like you're going to be not splashed a little bit,
Soaked.
completely
Drenched.
just
What? Listen to these words.
100 just
They're accurate words.
the
Very.
only part that was dry was the section between my bottom cheeks and the seat I was sitting on. Everything else completely soaked. And so I didn't know that until
The first spin?
no, so I didn't know that until we were heading over from Mimosas and your oldest son wore a bathing suit. And I'm like, well, should I have done that? And he's like, we're going to get wet. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know that. And he's like, but not every seat gets wet. Lies of the devil. And
Not every seat gets as wet.
Yes.
honestly, he wasn't lying. The pilot, the captain stayed dry the whole time. So we go in this thing, and in the river, the Rogue River is very shallow. It's wide. It's very shallow. And there's a lot of rapids and stuff. There were a ton of people out there doing like
Rafting?
legit rafting, and
Yes.
there's rapids and stuff. And it looked really cool. We said next time we go, we definitely want to go back and just get
Raft.
some rafts and hang out. And he's having to avoid all these people, and they're very safe. At no part did I feel like they were going to hit someone.
In the deeper sections.
In the deeper
of the calmer,
sections,
calmer deeper.
they do these crazy tricks with their boats, and everybody gets drenched, just complete
Oh, I thought you were going to say crazy. We all
Complete-
started screaming.
complete saturation. And again, normally I would be livid, and I wasn't really thrilled. I was kind of pissed a little bit that this was what we were going to be doing, and I really wasn't thrilled with it. But there is something about the combination of going 40 miles an hour
Yeah.
and getting completely drenched and having full sun
Right.
and it being 117 degrees.
It was a hot day.
It was so hot.
I think
It was
I think
miserably hot, and
You're
it was
underselling the temperature. It was probably 127.
it was every time we got wet, it was pure bliss.
Yeah.
It was like
It was.
oh, thank you. It was so hot that it was like, oh, this is nice.
Yep.
But I can imagine if you're there on like an 80-degree day, it
Yeah,
might be
not
miserable.
happy.
It is.
But
and if you do the
it
dinner,
is.
if you do the dinner one, you want to make sure you pack yourself some kind of a sweatshirt or something that you can keep dry, and maybe pull out,
Yeah.
and keep yourself warm after you're wet,
Yeah.
and then try to tuck it back in the dry before he does it, because he does forewarn you before he's going to do
He
it.
does give you heads up.
So it's not a
Not
surprise.
No, like,
Not when
No,
it slams
not
the
when it
brake.
slams on the brake.
not pack your stuff away time, but
No,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying it can be chilly so you really want to make sure it's a really hot day if you're
Sure.
going to do the dinner
Yeah.
one.
Oh.
Brunch is doable. It may not be peak hot time when you come back, because if you think about brunch times,
Yeah. And we were there
but
like
brunch is definitely doable. We did like a 2 to 4,
we did like a
so
2,
we did
so it was
peak
hot.
peak time
It was
of
hot.
the day.
I don't know about you, but by the time we were done,
I was dry.
I was mostly dry. I was
Yeah.
A
mostly
couple
dry.
of spots were a
I-
little wetter, but
We got so drenched. I mean, like fully drenched.
yeah.
yeah.
To the point where I'm like, we should have brought towels because we're going to get the seats wet. And the car we had didn't have leather seats; it had cloth. And I'm like, no one wants wet cloth seats. And so I was nervous about that. But again, by the time we got to the
Yeah,
car,
Yep.
we were
Right.
pretty
I mean,
dry.
your shoes don't get wet. Mine never got wet. Did anybody else's get
I don't
wet?
think mine did.
I think it's the way they've got the boat built.
So they did say ours was the newest. Our
Yep.
walls were a little higher, and so I think it kept the water off of the ground. It just got on our upper clothes.
That's okay. If you're a driver and you're watching this, it is in Grants Pass, Oregon. So I don't believe that there's a truck stop in
there
Grants
isn't.
Pass.
No.
The only truck stop I'm aware of in the Rogue Valley that includes Medford and Grants Pass and Ashland would be the Pilot.
Yes.
There are other
Oh,
places.
there's a TA down there too. So if you're coming up I-5 out of California,
Yep.
there's a TA that's actually pretty large.
Yes.
A little further up in Central Point, there is a Pilot, but it's relatively small.
Yep.
But the
Rent
TA
a
is
car.
bigger.
Find a
rent
yes,
place.
that's what I was going to say.
Find
Yeah.
a place, wherever that place may be, rent a car, And if you put the jet boats on your list of things to do, I don't think you'll be disappointed. You should start it off with mimosas. It's there in Grants Pass, my opinion. Some mimosas. They're farm to table. Everything's local for their food. Totally shouting out. We've always talked about it. They hold a special meaning in our
And
heart.
you can actually, the Grants Pass is going to be 20 miles from that pilot, so you
Yes.
need any car. However, when you get to Grants Pass, you can find parking, and you're able to walk between mimosas
Correct, yeah.
and the jet boats and
can.
everything that's actually in that little area there. So
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of cool history in Grants Pass if
it
you
really
chose
is. It truly
to dig
is.
a little deeper. So
And the food at Mimosas is really good too. So like if you're like, well, I'm driving, I don't want to drink, so I'm not going to go to the Mimosas. That's
Really
just
good
part
food.
of it. The food's really great. We had people that were with us that didn't get any alcohol to drink.
Yeah.
They
and they
the
do
food's just
savory
really
and
good.
sweet.
Yes,
They do savory, sweet.
their list of daily specials
Everything
was
is
a mile
just
long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was really good. I know we talked about brunch and dinner, and people might be a little confused. You don't eat on the boat. You actually, they
Yes.
have a beautiful, because you pass it. We didn't stop it there, but we passed it. They have a beautiful section,
a lodge.
a lodge, right on the river where it turns, where it bends.
Yep.
And it's just a gorgeous piece of property. The lodge is actually quite a bit up pretty high, and so it's a good little walk to get there from the river, and you have this beautiful scenic view and everything. So you would go there, and then you would eat, or have your brunch or have your dinner, and then you would
Right.
come back and do your boat tour back. And so it's not you're not eating on the boat. There's no food or drinks or anything on the boat.
no water. I think you could
water
take water.
only. No alcohol. They're hard
No
on that
smoking,
stuff.
none
No
of that.
smoking. Yeah. So, but honestly, I mean, like, I can't imagine anything but water.
And you want to sit in rows 3, 4, 5, and 6. 5 was pretty good,
Yeah.
my opinion.
It's a little moist, but
And make sure you
little
sit
bit.
on the outside if you really want to have fun.
Yeah.
All right, you do what you will. Anyway, I had a really good time, and I am so glad that y'all got to experience Rogue Valley with us.
I am too, but can we talk about 2 more things?
Yeah.
3 more things. The Rogue River Valley, the wineries.
Yes.
My note on that. I like wine, but I'm a very traditional. I like a Merlot or a Cabernet or a Pinot or whatever, right? I don't really care for like the peach wine and the fruity stuff and all these fancy things, which is real popular here in Ohio and really in the South. The wine is like real legit,
Grapes.
award-winning, delicious Cabernets or Merlots or things like that. Like Chardonnays, it's really good, traditional flavor. So if you've been to like a place where they had strawberry wine or whatever, they don't have that here. This is like real deal good stuff. And I mean, like super impressed with the quality. It was very good.
Thank you.
The 2 thing, the smoke is no joke.
In
if
the
you
summer.
don't want the smoke, early summer they said is pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and they said fall or spring are beautiful as well. Winter it gets a little cold and snowy, so maybe we'll avoid that. But
Not as beautiful out in the vineyards either.
yeah, so spring, early summer, or fall, and they said it's about a month and a half where it gets real smoky. That was no joke. That actually, it didn't bother me the first couple days, but the last day we were there, it was actually really bothering me in my sinuses and
does.
everything. So when we landed in Salt Lake, I literally felt like, oh, I can breathe again. Like
Mhm.
it was the craziest thing. I've seen that kind of smoke. I've never been in it. It was a wild. And then the last thing is volleyball in the pool. So I know what you're thinking. We've all been there. You get the volleyball net. It goes on either side of the
Right.
of the
yeah.
pool, and then you have a regular volleyball, and you
Yeah.
you form teams and you play volleyball, right? We
No.
basically did that, except we had no net
Yep.
No, no.
and no volleyball
No.
and no teams.
Well, to start.
Well, to start,
It
it
was just you
wasn't.
and I.
It was just
well,
Vince
and
and I.
we used a beach ball.
And it's a smallish.
It is a small
Pool.
peanut-shaped pool
I mean,
Yes.
it was big enough.
or kidney-shaped
Kidney
pool.
shape.
Yeah.
You could-
pool.
10 people would be comfortable in it.
It was.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more than that, it'd be a problem.
You
But
had
it- so it was-
6. You had 6 for your teams.
Yep. So we did 3 and 3.
Yep.
So we ended up having to use someone's shoes.
Shoes.
They
to,
had
to note where the net would
yep,
be.
to where the net would be. So we had no height clearance, obviously,
No.
but because that we had rules, no spiking,
Right.
and we
no
used
spiking in volleyball.
we used a 3-foot diameter
It
beach
was,
ball,
yeah.
ridiculous thing, and that was our ball we played with.
And you could
and-
double tap it.
You couldn't double tap it.
Volleyball rules.
Yep. And
if it hit the outer edge, it was out.
If it was outer edge, it was out. If
Of
it
the pool.
of the pool, yep. And we had a great time.
It was a lot of laughs.
So
It was a
much
blast.
fun.
And everybody
It
was
was a
involved
blast.
because even if you weren't in the water, you
had a
had
judge.
two
Yeah, you
judges,
were-
a
yeah,
judge on
exactly.
either side.
Yep.
Because sometimes it was very scary.
Because there's no net.
There's no net.
So you
be
have to-
watching.
yeah.
And then there was the scorekeeper because it was hard to keep score,
Yep.
even though if you were the judge.
And there was one section of the pool where there were steps,
Yeah.
and the steps were actually built outside of the pool, so it is out of bounds.
bounds.
It was
and,
crazy.
And,
We
someone,
had a good
and
time.
so the scorekeeper had to keep his eye on that, or her eye on that, to make sure
Yep.
if the ball went in there. It was crazy.
If you're not making your own family games during family time, you're not doing family time right. That's what I gotta say.
So
A lot of laughs.
my team lost
Okay.
Very sad that
barely,
your team lost.
barely.
Every time?
No, so
Because
the,
we've played quite a
we,
few games.
so we won the first
You
time.
lost.
Oh, there
you
we
won,
go.
You won the first game.
Won the first game.
Mhm.
We lost the second game
Yeah.
bad. It was a beating.
Yes, you did.
And well, the first game was a beating.
It was.
And the second game was a beating. The
It
third
was.
game was cut.
It was down to the wire.
Throat.
We won by 2, I think, right? And
Yeah, it was
we
won by 2,
We
and it was
went pretty high.
Yeah,
on that one.
it was
Yeah.
it was pretty wild. It was
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
I was
It was a good
very
time.
proud of my team for being victorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because
in
you have fingernails
pool
involved.
volleyball.
She had those nails down. Heather's got beautiful long acrylic nails, and she figured out how to. Because you think to hit a regular volleyball pretty hard. Well, a beach ball, you barely have to
Barely
give it.
touch
barely
it.
touch
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
could just stick one finger up, and it's going to
Yeah.
do something.
I can't tell you how many times I scored y'all points just by
So
hitting it a little
she
too hard.
just kind of
That's it.
figured out this
Yep.
way to kind of just put her finger up and let the ball hit just the nails, and it would
It would
bounce
yeah.
just the right amount of distance. Because if you gave it a full flat hand, it would go out of bounds
Yeah,
and way
right.
beyond. And so she just kind of like cat clawed up.
I
And I'm
can't
like,
tell-
you got it going on.
I can't tell you how many times we scored just by like jumping backwards and letting the ball fly.
Right?
Like
It
Yeah.
was a good time. It,
It
was
was-
fun.
Yep.
it was
fun.
it was very fun. I enjoyed that a
Yep.
whole lot. Oh man, and just the energy.
It
The
was
energy was
fun.
great.
It was
It
great.
was good.
It was a
And
lot
we
of
were going to
fun.
play more, but we had to shut it down because quiet hours kicked in. If we were that last game was darn near silent.
It was.
It was very
crazy.
quiet.
It was a
Very
silent game.
quiet.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a
Good
blast.
time.
Well,
So it's been a fun summer.
it sounds
I
like
am
it.
looking forward to fall, but it's been a fun summer.
Yeah, it sounds like a great summer. So, in the past couple weeks that we've been, I know we released one of these each week, but we actually filmed the first 2 back to back, and then last week you were in Oregon, Medford,
Yep, Oregon.
and Eric and I we actually left Medford. We had to fly straight to Atlanta and go do the Elite Fleet with FedEx Custom Critical. Big shout out to George and Teresa Burton who drive with us. They actually won the award this year. They were our Elite Fleet drivers, and they've done a great job. They went with us. Hold on a second. And they've been with us for a while, and I can't think of a more deserving couple. They really work hard. They bleed FedEx purple, and it's just what a great reward. So thank you so much for that. And so we were out there and did FedEx brings all the fleet owners out there, and we did 4 days. I think 4 days there. And had a great time. Got to speak to a lot of people with FedEx and higher managements there and everything. So people we don't normally get to have face-to-face time with, we get to do that. And really had a great time out there. Learned a lot about, if you see the news at all, you'll know that FedEx is going through some changes. FedEx Corporate is. And got a chance to kind of pick their brains and kind of see, how does this affect us and what's going on and stuff. And I got to say, I can't really get into specifics, but I'm really excited about the future. There's some really cool things coming down the pipe. We've got some really smart people in really good leadership positions, and I am very excited about things that are coming.
That's really good to hear.
It is. It's been a couple years of like weirdness and who knows
Right.
what, but I am really happy with the direction that things are going now. Eric and I did that, and then we flew back home on Thursday. Came back, got to the house. I took a 20-minute power nap, as one does, and then we jumped in the car and headed out about an hour outside of Columbus and did the Travis Tritt concert. And can we talk for a
Was it
second
good? I was
about
supposed to be there.
what an amazing, not artist, not singer, entertainer.
Wow.
What an amazing entertainer this guy was, Travis Tritt. I mean, Eric barely knows his music and just had a smile on his face the whole time. He engaged with the crowd. He did a big thing for the troops. It was just stinking awesome. Just awesome. He did a gospel song in the middle of nothing. Middle of everything craziness, he just burst into a freaking gospel. It was great. It was just
awesome.
everything you'd want it to be. It was really, really good. And the opener was War Hippies, who I've never heard of. We got to see War Hippies, who I'm like, I don't know who this opening band is. I've never heard their name. It sounds kind of silly, right? War Hippies. And they came on stage with fire. It was amazing. It's a guy playing acoustic guitar. He's a Marine, a veteran.
Of the United States Marine Corps.
Yes.
He served in Iraq.
He served in Iraq. And just a great guy, hearing his story, everything he's talking about. It was super pro-America. It was not political, which I love that he didn't go down those places, didn't alienate the crowd. It was really awesome. So he's playing guitar. He's a singer-songwriter. The guy next to him is one of his best friends. He's playing fiddle, and he's got the, long, gnome-looking beard,
Big ZZ Top beard.
ZZ Top beard, thank you. Yeah. He's playing fiddle. He's freaking phenomenal. And then it's a drummer, and that's it. That's the whole band. And they put a great show on, didn't they, Eric? I mean, it was awesome. I downloaded their music. I think I sent y'all a text. I know I sent Jimmy and Kelly a text. I'm like, y'all got to check this band out. I mean, they are really just on fire. And so, yeah, we had a great time. And I got back home around 1 o'clock in the morning. We hit the ground running. It's been a week, hasn't it, Eric? It's just been, it's been a week. It's been, and then I had to go the very next day, my little mishap.
Your little mishap.
My little mishap.
Yes. You could have had a day, but no.
So when you're going, which was great. It was a lot, we did the thing with y'all in the Rogue Valley, but a lot of the travel was work over the past month. And I'm so fortunate to be able to do what we do, but it was a lot of back-to-back work travel. I just didn't map my days correctly. I didn't check my calendar.
Right. Yeah.
I was just thinking I need to be in Fort Worth for Monday morning. I'll leave Friday.
Yeah.
And just completely ignored the fact that, that's too many days. You don't need that many days. So I left Friday morning. I drive down to Fort Worth, stop at my normal hotel in Memphis.
Right.
You've been there. You stayed there with me before. I go to breakfast the next morning. It's Holiday Inn Express. Love my Holiday Inn Express.
Great place.
I gotta wake up. I stayed in Holiday Inn Express. So I go down there, go to breakfast, and they got this big gospel group that's down there, and they're talking about Sunday service and everything. And I'm like, it's kind of late because
they should have been in service already.
Yeah, I had to do my 10-hour break, so it's 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, and I'm like, why are they still here? And so I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's a Monday revival or something.
Right.
And then they said, see you in church tomorrow or something like that. And I was like, what's going on? And it just dawned on me.
I thought maybe you had set up something with AA where they're going to leave the truck,
which I've done before.
hide the keys.
I've done that before.
And you just swap the truck and keep on moving.
Yes, and I have done that before.
Yeah.
So that's not crazy thought. And I had not done that. I just completely spaced out on the travel times and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Saturday. So I got down to Fort Worth at what time? 8 p.m. on Saturday, and ordered some takeout, had it sent to the room, and then spent all day Sunday. I had big plans.
Yeah.
I love Academy Sports. If you're in a city that has Academy Sports, I love Academy Sports. I like to buy my shoes there. Their prices are way more reasonable than some of the other places. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Academy Sports. I'm going to find me a new pair of shoes because I think I mentioned on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, I blew one of my shoes out in Europe. So I'm like, all right, I need to get a new pair of shoes. And then I also want to go to another restaurant you can only find there. And there was another store. I can't remember what it was, but there's somewhere else I wanted to go while I was there as well. And I did none of it. I stayed in the room. I watched television. They had the cool thing, which I love hotels are starting to do now, where you can sign into your Netflix account.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I signed in my Netflix account
Makes it so
and
easy.
just watched Netflix all day. Ubered in my food, and so I was texting Eric. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Watching Back to the Future Part 3 or something."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching whatever stupid movie it was. I
Right.
was watching Red or something," and that was it. It was just like
That's it.
I just vegged out and did nothing, and it
Yeah.
was awesome.
That was my weekend last weekend without Melissa home.
Yeah.
I had planned. I needed to go get some limes.
I texted you and you never responded back, so I was like, "Well, he's either dead on the motorcycle or or he's done." Like, one of the two.
I was just done.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend watching the John Wick series.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun.
So good.
I'd seen 1 through 3. 3, I didn't really. I don't know if I wasn't focused on it or what, but I couldn't remember a whole lot of it. So I did go back and watch 2, 3, and 4 because I hadn't seen 4 yet, and I just enjoyed it. The action. I mean, storyline. If you're watching for the story, you're watching the wrong thing.
What?
But the action, along with the story and how things play out, I thought was a lot of fun. So that's what I did over the weekend once she was gone. So I guess we all three kind of had our own private movie watching weekend.
You can only push so far before you gotta have a break.
Yes, I agree.
Y'all know what this means, right?
Shh, don't say it.
Next week we have to
Oh, have some facts.
prepare shows.
Ooh,
We have to do
Truck
to
knowledge.
get
Got
the
some content.
gotta get the
Transport.
production meeting going again. Yeah, and Jerry,
Well,
y'all.
I mean, there are some standbys that we always fall back on, right?
Yes, loves travels.
Weather. That was number 2. Number 1 was going to be weather.
Weather.
And number 2 is going to be new travel stops that are opening up. So
Oh, I thought you said nude travels, and I'm like,
Nude-
what
I've
are we?
seen some.
That's
Travels.
They have
interesting,
opened some
New
this summer.
travels.
Some
Yeah.
nude at travel centers.
travels.
No,
Okay,
New
so that's
loves travel stops. They have opened some this summer.
I don't. I did see that too.
Barstow?
No, save it for next week.
All right.
So if you want to hear more about loves, we
exactly.
may or may
Tune
not talk
in.
about it next week.
Tune in.
And no, this is it's been a lot of fun catching up. I can't believe it took 3 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
The original idea was, hey, can we meet one day for like a 3-hour recording session, and then Jerry's going to break it up, and it'll be fine. And it spanned.
You had a long summer.
Well,
We're 5 hours in.
we went so long on the first recording that when you got to the second one, I was done.
You done?
I was like, I just
Yeah.
don't have words left today.
Yes. Well, it's
Word quota was done.
Yes.
the fact that we had a 3-part summer said it was an epic summer. Can't wait to see what fall has in store. I already know some things coming up. I know some things we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
look
can't
forward
wait
to it.
to do this some more. Next week we will be back, same place, same time. And
I want to know what y'all been doing during your summer. Drop it in the comments.
yes,
Yeah.
Share.
Please. Let
yes,
us know.
send us a text message.
Send us a 2-hour-long video.
Do an email. Give your highlights. Where should we go next?
What's the email address? theouterbeltpodcast@gmail.com.
When you say
Would that
the,
be-
ICTHEE.
The
That is the.
Biblical.
thy outer belt
No.
pod no the outer belt podcast at gmail.com.
There you go.
Eric.
The.
Ah!
Thank you, Jerry.
If
The
you
Outer Belt
Like and
Podcast.
subscribe. Share.
yes,
Share it over to your Facebook. Some of you have all been starting your own
we see you.
company Facebook groups. I see you.
We see you.
Share this over there. Get other people interested that you're trying to promote to or share with or whatever you're doing on your business Facebook pages.
Absolutely. It cross promotion's a great thing. They already said like and subscribe. If you see a button in front of you, press it. Everything helps. If you don't like what we're saying and you think it's ridiculous and we need to go back to whatever, we're doing it next week, but hit a thumbs down. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's part of the
Yeah,
algorithm.
part of the algorithm. Let's do it. Like I said, leave a comment, shoot us an email if you want to talk to us about trucking, although we've talked nothing about it in 3 weeks. You can certainly reach out to us at highfieldtrucking.com. You can go there, drop us set up an appointment to call us. You can get our phone number there, or maybe at the bottom of this, our phone number is there as well. Call us anytime, day or night. I mean, we'll only answer during business hours, but you can call us whenever you
Leave
want.
a voicemail, sure.
Yeah, leave us a voicemail.
Leave a voicemail.
We do call everybody back, and it's so much fun doing this job, doing this show. Just I'm brought up. I can't wait to.
I'm looking
keep doing
forward to
this.
some articles in the upcoming weeks and what's happening in any industry.
I am too. Jerry, miss anything?
No, that was about it.
All right.
Facebook, Instagram, we're website.
TikTok.
Are we?
Yep.
What?
There we go.
Until next week, stay safe, make good decisions.
Don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.
Bye.